Today's is Professor Will CBMD PhD case, Saturday, March 23rd, 2019. It is 12:10:46 seconds Eastern Standard Time. And this is a reading on microbiological algae. So let's get started here. Algae, singular alga. Algae make up a diverse group of eukaryotes that perform photosynthesis. They are referred to as heterogeneous collection of organisms because they include unicellular, multicellular, and filamentous forms. Algae include not only microscopic plankton cells, but also seaweeds and kelps that grow to about 165 to 50 meters in length. Though many resemble plants, they lack a vascular system not found in higher plants. Algae have been found in all climates and places, as diverse as tropical settings, polar regions, and even deserts. Algae grow in the following aquatic environments: marine waters such as oceans and bays, freshwater lakes and streams, and brackish waters, meaning waters with high levels of salt, but not as salty as the ocean. Algae have also been isolated from rice paddies, hot springs, and the acoustic waters of hazardous waste sites. If soil, tree trunks, or leaves on plants hold sufficient moisture, algae will grow in those places as well. The algae that float freely in water are called planktonic algae, while species that attach to submerged surfaces are known as benthic or sessile algae. These aquatic algae belong to a group of organisms called phytoplankton that live in the world's oceans and other bodies of water and serves as food source for marine organisms. Phytoplankton makes up the lowest level of aquatic food chains, and many other forms of life depend on it. Mycology or algology is the study of algae, a specialty of microbiology that spans simple single-cell species to complex organisms. A person who studies and grows algae is a phycologist. Algae play a variety of roles in the environment and in industry. In the environment, all of the Earth's collective mass of algae helps pull carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere, which is a benefit in reducing greenhouse gases. But algae also present a hazard in the environment under certain conditions. For example, environmental algae begin to grow very rapidly when nutrients enter their normally nutrient-sparse water habitat. A sudden influx of nitrogen or phosphorus-containing compounds causes the growth response, which results in algal bloom. Algal blooms threaten normal aquatic ecosystems and kill marine life through toxins secreted by the algae. Outside marine environments, algae can present hazardous due to their toxin production, or they may be harmless nuisances in pools, ponds, and fish tanks. Algal structure and metabolism. A thin cell wall surrounds algal cells, and inside the cell, a membrane encloses each organelle. Organelles are distinct bodies within eukaryotic cells that carry out specific cell activities. In algae, an organelle called a chloroplast contains flat sacs called thylakoids. Many thylakoids stack into layers called grana to fill the chloroplast, and these stacks serve the cell by storing chlorophyll pigments, which play a major part of photosynthesis. The chloroplasts also contain protein-based pyrenoid structures that store the carbohydrates produced during photosynthesis. As other eukaryotes do, algae contain a nucleus, mitochondria, endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi bodies, and plasma membrane. Most algae also have a contractile vacuole that takes in and releases water to maintain the cell's water balance. Other vacuoles help digest food and store nutrients. Monoalgae possesses from 1 3 tail-like flagella on their outer surface. The vegetative, non-reproducing part of life cycle body of an algae is called thallus. The thallus participates in one of the 3 following types of asexual reproduction. 1. Fragmentation, in which the thallus breaks into several pieces that each grow into a new cell. 2. Spore formation, whereby algae disperse spores that develop into cells or split into 2 new cells by binary fission. And 3. Sexual reproduction, in which algae cells form haploid female or male structures, gametes, equivalent to egg, sperm cells in higher organisms. Gametes combine to produce a diploid zygote, which undergoes the process called meiosis, in which diploid deoxyribonucleic acid DNA divides into haploid copies. At this point, the reproductive process returns to the first step and recommences. Water molds of the phylum Mycota produce asexually in a way similar to that used by other algae, but water molds differ from other algae by forming asexually produced spores called oomycotes. Oomycetes feel sacs called sporangia, and when they escape the sporangia, the oomycetes use 2 flagella that enable them to move through moist habitats. These flagellated spores of water molds are called zoospores. Green algae. Green algae contain diverse structures and live in a variety of habitats, including inside other organisms. Biologists believe green algae most closely relate to the plants living on land. Because of their place in phylogeny, green algae have been proposed as precursors to the evolution of Earth's green plants. Biologists have considered the evolutionary role of algae in terms of a structure called holdfast that is present in some aquatic green algae. Holdfast anchor algae to surfaces for part of their life cycle, yet do not draw in any nutrients as do root systems in terrestrial habitats. Some green algae growing underwater and held in place by holdfast resemble lawn grass. The grass green pond scum that grows into long filaments and covers the water surface also depends on holdfast to keep the algae attached to the earth. Red algae. Red algae consists of unicellular forms of a variety of multicellular forms that grow to 3 or more feet, 1 meter in length. All red algae store energy in a starch molecule called fluoridine, made up of glucose units in alpha-1,4 and alpha-1,6 linkages. The same as alpha-1,4 linkages in Nature Connect glucose, units in vegetable used in microbiology laboratories. In living algae, the agar combines with 3 additional polymers to form a matrix that strengthens the cell. Outside laboratories, beachgoers sometimes find slippery and rubbery red seaweeds. In addition to red seaweeds, the phylum Rhodophyta, the red algae group also contains the green seaweeds Chlorophyta and the brown seaweeds Phaeophyta. The following list of familiar types of seaweeds and their characteristics. Brown algae. As with red algae, brown algae contains no chlorophyll, but they use chlorophylls A and C in their photosynthesis. Pigment fucoxanthin gives these algae their characteristics brown and olive colors. Brown algae store food energy in the form of complex carbohydrates, such as polysaccharide laminin, rather than use simple starches. Food industry harvests brown algae to recover the alginic acid found in their cell walls. Food chemists then convert alginic acid to a compound called algin, which is a thickener for foods, cosmetics, and pharmaceuticals. For example, several face moisturizers sold today contain algin to give the product a creamy consistency and hold moisture in the skin. Good day, this is Professor Will, CBMD, PhD, case Saturday, March 23, 2019, and this concludes my brief description on algae. Hope you enjoyed listening. Have a great day.